my mom's birthday in a few weeks, and I have the day pretty much free, so I thought that I would just take the day to go downtown and visit some of the shops that are around here. I'm specifically looking for any kind of earrings that don't really dangle. My mom is really specific about like the kinds of earrings she likes, and so she prefers, I believe they're called studs. So I'll be looking for those, and hopefully I can find something with like green in them, or something kind of like elegant and simple at the same time. So I'll be kind of just bringing you along, and I might visit some thrift stores that are around there as well, and there are a couple of bookstores. So yeah, I thought that I would just bring you with me and kind of show you around, and hopefully you enjoy and have a good time. So I've been going through my books recently, and I decided that I would share some of my favorite fall books with you, and also talk a little bit about the books that I'll be reading for the rest of the year. So when I think about fall and autumn, I think about like living in New York City, just because I like tend to romanticize living there and imagine myself like what it would be like to live there during this season. And so I tend to read books about the city during this time. And first two books are kind of related to that, Just Kids by Patti Smith and The Lonely City by Olivia Lang. Just Kids is a memoir following Patti Smith's life during the 70s after moving to New York City. And it basically just talks about her experience as an artist living in the city and her friendship with Robert Mapplethorpe, which was a very significant part of her young adulthood. If you're looking for something that is very atmospheric, very kind of all over the place when it comes to like life, I guess, because it feels very like her life is very messy, very sporadic, filled with art and other artists and reflections on like what it means to be an artist and what people are willing to sacrifice for the sake of creating art. I think you would definitely like this book if you are interested in any of that. And also, if you are interested in friendship, this book is a very interesting exploration of friendship and the kind of platonic love that exists between friends. It's definitely a really, really good atmospheric city book. The Lonely City is about Olivia Lang's time in New York City. She was set to move to New York City to move in with her boyfriend, but then her boyfriend broke up with her. And so now she's living in New York and experiencing these like high levels of loneliness and emotional turmoil. And so she decides to explore the topic of loneliness through art. And so each chapter in this book talks about a different artist and a different artwork and their connection to the concept of loneliness and how they experienced it in their lifetime. These two, honestly, are some of my favorite books. I think they represent kinds of books that I really enjoy reading. And yeah, the next books are kind of a departure from that kind of book in the sense that they're all very scary or spooky or unsettling in some way. So I have The Dangers of Smoking in Bed by Mariana Enriquez. This one is a collection of short stories, and they all take place in Buenos Aires, which is a city in Argentina. And it reminds me of American Horror Story in the sense that each story is set with different people and different circumstances, but they all have this very unsettling tone to them. And yeah, if you are looking for something that has like ghosts and witches and murder and like cities that feel slightly off, I think you would definitely enjoy this one. Then the next one is Tender as the Flesh. This one is, I would say, the most graphic of all of them, just because it is about a world where cannibalism is kind of normalized, just because there's been some kind of virus that has affected animals to the point where they're no longer edible. And so the world has kind of reacted with creating a system to normalizing cannibalism. But just that is very disturbing and very scary. This book also has some very interesting discussions on the power of language and how language plays an integral part in society and normalizing things that shouldn't be normalized through like marketing and all of these things. So if you are interested in any of that, if you are looking for something that is scary and disturbing, but also thought-provoking and interesting when you think about like our current world and how we interact with animals and how we treat them, this would be a definite like pick for you. The next one that I'm currently reading is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is a reread for me. I originally read it a few years ago and I really loved it the first time around. It just feels like a very autumnal, like Halloween book to me. But I would say if you're looking for something that is, first of all, it's a classic. It's very accessible when it comes to the way it's written. It's very beautifully written. There are some very interesting reflections on power and obsession and the things that people will do to find meaning and a sense of importance in our world. So if any of that feels interesting to you, I'd say give this one a try, and then you might have the movie to look forward to watching after. That is what I had for my recommendations for this season. And then some of the books that I want to get to the rest of this year. I have quite a variety of them, but I've tried to like curate the books to feel autumnal in some sense. The book that I'm currently reading is Evidence by Mary Oliver, and this is a book of poems by Mary Oliver, who is very in tune with the natural world. I think her poetry is always connected to nature in some way, and she does a very good job at finding connections through the natural world, but also using the natural world to reflect on her own life and her own life experiences that are very specific. This feels like a very autumnal book to me, and I'm slowly making my way through it. I try to read a poem every day. But yeah, there's so many good ones in here. Some of my favorite poems from this collection so far are I really love Swans, and then I really loved Water and Li Po and the Moon. Those are really, really good. Um, but yeah, slowly making my way through this. Then I have The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This one I have had recommended to me a lot of times, so I'm finally getting around to it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one. It's a classic. It is referenced in so many things, and I'm excited to finally be able to know what it's about. Then I have Wool Gathering by Patti Smith. This one I chose because Patti Smith feels very autumnal to me, and also this cover feels very autumnal. But yeah, from what I've been able to understand from the description, this is a book on her memories from childhood, and she is doing some kind of interesting writing method where she is trying to recreate the feeling of like unraveling something or gathering. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know there is some stylistic choice with the writing. I'm super excited to read more Patti Smith. I haven't read her in a while, and there's some photographs that I'm excited to see, and I'm just so excited to get more of Patti Smith's writing. And then the next two are campus novels, which I chose specifically because when I think of autumn, I think of the fall semester, which this semester is my last semester in university. And so, yeah, I chose these two because of that. And specifically, this one, The Idiot, I had set out to read last year during the fall semester, but then I got so busy that I couldn't read it. But this year, I'm going to do it. This one follows, her name is Celine, who is the daughter of Turkish immigrants, and she is going to Harvard. But yeah, it follows her story going to Harvard, dealing with what it's like to be in academia as first generation American. And I believe it's set during the 90s. And so that'll be interesting to kind of read from. And then this one, Harvard Square by Andre Aciman. He wrote Call Me by Your Name, which is one of my like favorite books because of the way it is written. I think his writing is so beautiful and so articulate. Just the way he writes is so interesting. And I didn't know he had other books written until I found this one. But this one follows I believe, an Egyptian immigrant who moved to the US to study at Harvard, but also I think is like teaching at Harvard at the same time. It's about like his process of moving here and assimilating and dealing with like the culture shocks and being a person of color and academia and all of those things. So I'm expecting really, really great writing, really interesting, thought provoking reflections on being that kind of person in the US. And yeah, these two sound amazing. I'm so excited for them. So the last two are Love by Rhodey Doyle. From what I've been able to understand from the description, it kind of reminds me of Sally Rooney in the sense that it's very quiet and it's about these two guys that were very close friends as children, but then kind of grew apart, and then they encounter each other at a bar years later as adults. And it's just kind of sitting at this bar talking about their life since the last time that they saw each other. And I believe it's set in Ireland. So it definitely reminds me a lot of like Normal People, Conversations with Friends type books. I don't think I've seen that much from this book, like about this book. So if you've read it, please let me know what you thought about it. Just because I haven't seen it anywhere on like Instagram or anything. And then the last book is The Man Who Loved Books Too Much, and it is the true story of a thief, a detective, in a world of literary obsession. This one I honestly know nothing about except for how amazing the title is. I think it's true crime, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how it differs from what I normally read. The title of the book was enough to get me interested in reading it. Those are all of my recommendations, and then the books that I'll be reading in the next couple of weeks. Let me know if you want to hear my thoughts on any specific book that I've talked about. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you being here, and I hope that you enjoyed my videos so far. I'm really excited to continue to post and continue to talk about books. See you next week.